Coming up on today's show, we're going to react to Bleacher Report's article titled One Trade We'd Like to See Every Single NFL Team Make, because Big Blue, they were mentioned 4 times. We'll break that down around the corner, but I need some help. I will be at the NFL Combine coming up this week, and on Tuesday, John Harbaugh and Joe Schoen are going to be holding press conferences, and I'm going to be able to ask them questions. I need your help. I'm workshopping mine, but I want to hear from the real ones. If you were able to go to the Joe Schoen press conference and the John Harbaugh press conference, what questions would you ask them? Sound off in the comments. This is New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. Let's dive into it. And I'm going to be honest with you. I think some of the trades that Bleacher Report put in this article make some sense. But let's start with potentially the dumbest trade I have ever seen. And that would be the New York Giants sending Dexter Lawrence and a 6th-round pick to the Cincinnati Bengals, in return getting a 2nd-round pick and a future 5th-round pick. First, why do the New York Giants have to add a 6th-round pick in this trade? I don't understand that. Point number 2, I am not going to trade Dexter Lawrence unless the New York Giants are going to be getting back a similar or better package than the New York Jets got when they sent Quinnen Williams to the Dallas Cowboys. That featured a 1st-round pick, a 2nd-round pick, and a player on their rookie contract who was a 1st-round pick. And I don't even want to really trade Dexter Lawrence, but if there are teams who are interested, that is what the offer is going to start at. I am willing to bet and risk it, if you want to say that Dexter Lawrence is going to bounce back next season. Like, if you think about all the players that I think benefit the most from John Harbaugh being the coach of the Giants, it's Dexter Lawrence. The guy who has been here through losing season after losing season after losing season. And it has become obvious that the losing has taken a toll on Dexter Lawrence. Now you have a head coach that all they do is win. You have an identity, and you are showing an effort to go and win football games. Can he get back to that 2024 self where he had 9 sacks? Or in 2023 where he had 65 pressures in 16 games and had 35 stops in that season? Is that guy still alive? I think so. And I'm going to bet on Dex to bounce back. Like, I would rather bet that Dexter Lawrence gets back to being that all-pro, potentially the best interior defensive lineman in the National Football League, than get a 2nd and a 5th-round pick back in return. Look, I'm sure there are a lot of smart people over at Bleacher Report that put a lot of work in. But you have won the dumbest trade idea that I have seen in the 2026 NFL offseason. You're telling me the Giants aren't even going to get a 1st-round pick back? And on top of that, to get a 2nd and a 5th, they have to add a 6th-round pick to Dexter Lawrence? It was absolutely disgusting. Let's move on to trade idea number 2, because no Giants fan would do that Dexter Lawrence trade. Now the question is, are there any Giants fans that would want to trade Deonte Banks to the Packers or any other team and get a 6th-round pick in return? And this one, you would be getting selection number 200. I don't think it takes a genius to say that Deonte Banks has not lived up to being a 1st-round pick, let alone a guy that you traded up in round 1 to select. I always thought after his rookie year there was some potential and there was some flashes. But the idea that he was a good football player his rookie year, it's just not the case. Pro Football Focus, they put out coverage grades every single year. Deonte Banks' rookie year received a 48.6. That ranked 114th out of 132 qualifying cornerbacks. And that is where he essentially was in 2024 and in 2025. So I ask you the question, would you make this trade? Deonte Banks is out. You don't even have to worry about the Packers. Would you trade Deonte Banks for a 6th-round pick in the draft this year? Type A for accept, type D for decline. When it comes to Banks, and trading him for a pick like a 6th-round selection, there's a couple of things that I go through. One, what are the chances that you find a starting corner in the 6th round? It's possible. There's some free agents that I really like that were former 6th and 7th round picks, but it's not that big of a likelihood. On the other hand, would I rather bet that Deonte Banks can take a step with a new head coach in John Harbaugh, who is a secondary guy, Denard Wilson, who is a secondary guy? You bring over Delicio, a really good defensive back coach that came from the Kansas City Chiefs. Like, the Giants now, it seems like, actually have solid teachers in coaching spots on defense. 6'2", 200 pounds, 24 years old, runs a 4.3 40. Like, the tools are there. The football skills are not. Is there a way that this team, this management, and this coaching staff can put him in a spot to be successful? Probably not, but I think I'd rather bet on that than just exchanging him for a 6th-round pick and then take the small chance I'm going to find a better player there. Again, I'm not expecting anything from Deonte Banks this year, but I kind of like the idea of him getting to work with Harbaugh and Denard Wilson and all of the talented minds and smart coaches the Giants have hired. Again, I don't think he's going to take a step this year, but imagine if he does. Like, he's built to be a boundary corner in this league. There was a reason teams wanted him in round 1. I don't know. We'll see. I hope so. I don't know if I would just flip him for a 6th-round pick. Look, I don't believe in Deonte Banks, but maybe I believe in this coaching staff to get him back on the right path. 2 more trades to talk about coming up in a second, but St. Paddy's Day is right around the corner, and Giants Now by Chat Sports just released some green St. Paddy's Day shirts. Get yours today at that link, chatsports.com/GiantsGreen. It's chatsports.com/GiantsGreen. Get your T-shirts today. If you do, when they come in the mail, put them on, take a picture, and send it to me on social media, and I'll put it on the show. All right, trade idea number 3. This one has the New York Giants acquiring what once was one of the best corners in the National Football League, Marlon Humphrey. Giants acquire him from the Baltimore Ravens, John Harbaugh's former team, and the Ravens acquire from the New York Giants a 4th-round pick and a 6th-round pick this year. I'll just come out and say it. That is too much to be giving up for Marlon Humphrey at this point, especially when you consider the lack of picks the New York Giants have in this draft. And on top of that, it sounds like the Baltimore Ravens are just going to cut Marlon Humphrey. You always see teams that are going to have to make cap casualty cuts, try and trade players and get something for them. I'm not trading a 4th and a 6th when I don't have that many picks this year for a player who is on the chopping block. Look, if he becomes available as a free agent, I am 100% interested in signing Marlon Humphrey. If I can send a 6th-round pick to the Ravens and I get Marlon Humphrey that way, sure. But I'm not trading a 4th-round pick and a 6th-round pick for Humphrey, who just turned in his worst season in the National Football League. He had a 42.9 PFF coverage grade. He allowed 920 receiving yards. He allowed 3 touchdowns. And he had just 13 PBUs compared to the prior year. He had 15. So less PBUs, less interceptions, almost double the amount of yardage he gave up, and his PFF coverage grade was slashed in half from 2024 to 2025. I still think that Marlon Humphrey is a starting caliber corner in the NFL. Giants can use a guy like that, but when you have pick 5, pick 37, pick 105, pick 143, and then 3 6th-round picks, like, you're telling me I'm going to trade pick 143 or pick 105, and then I'm going to trade you pick 185, and I'm going to pick at pick 5, pick 37, then I'm not going to get on the clock again until pick 143. We're going to go 106 selections in the NFL draft without making a pick. It's just too much to give up for Humphrey at this point, a player that's reaching 30 years old. I like Marlon Humphrey. I think he could be a good corner on this Giants team. I think he could help integrate the John Harbaugh era to the New York Giants. I want him on this team, but I'm not trading a 4th and a 6th. I'm not trading a 4th. I'll give you 2 6th-round picks, and if you cut him, I'll sign him, but I ain't giving up pick 105. That makes no sense. What about the New York Giants acquiring pick number 77 from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Bleacher Report threw out a trade where the Bucs would acquire Kayvon Thibodeaux and the Giants would get a third-round pick this year, number 77, a top half pick in that third round. When it comes to trading Kayvon Thibodeaux, I've said I wanted a day 2 pick. Pick 77 is a day 2 pick. And I guess it kind of hits you when you're like, well, I think I would do that trade. And then you envision that Kayvon Thibodeaux isn't a New York Giant. And I am biased to Kayvon. He was the first pick of the Joe Schoen era. He was the first-round selection that the New York Giants made when I was covering the New York Giants for Chat Sports. So I'm biased. And I like Kayvon. And I thought he grew a little bit in 2025. I thought he played with a lot more power. I thought he grew as a run defender. I think I saw some maturity growth from him as well. I thought he played a little bit harder. But what is the prime and peak version of Kayvon? At best, he is a streaky pass rusher. He'll go 2 or 3 games where he shows off those moves, skills, and the ability to get after a quarterback, and then he'll go 3 or 4 games with no production after that. The advanced metrics say he is not an elite pass rusher, but he is a good run defender. He is a good edge setter, and he has grown at that. But are the New York Giants going to give Kayvon Thibodeaux a deal after this season to keep him around after they're already paying Brian Burns and Abdul Carter? And does Kayvon Thibodeaux want to be an edge 3? It's going to be a tough decision to make, and they need to start looking towards the future and ask, is Kayvon Thibodeaux a part of that? Would you trade Kayvon Thibodeaux to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for their third-round pick, number 77 overall? That's a premium pick, and you don't have a third-rounder. I think it's hard to say no, and it's hard to say yes. You answer. Type Y for yes, type N for no. Look, I like Kayvon Thibodeaux. I do. I like having an edge room of Brian Burns and Abdul Carter and Kayvon Thibodeaux and Chauncey Golston, and knowing that at one of the more important positions in this sport, the Giants have 3 quality players and a 4th one in Golston. Thank you. But man, you only have so many slices of the salary cap to go around. You only have so many pieces to build that house. I like Kayvon, but the Giants have a lot more needs than edge 3 right now. And are the Giants going to give him a contract extension now? I doubt it. Are they then going to compete with other teams in free agency next year to bring Kayvon back? I hear the idea of letting him stay and just being great at edge this year. Then what? You're going to lose him in free agency and then play the cop pick formula game and not go sign any other players in free agency next year? It's a tough conversation. It's going to be a tough decision. For pick number 77, I think I would say yes. I do. And maybe I would just go draft another edge rusher at number 77 and have that guy under contract for 4 years at a low rate. I like Kayvon. I appreciate everything he's done here. I just think we might be coming to the end of the road. Shout out to all of y'all. Appreciate you for tuning in. If you haven't yet, give me a follow on social media and make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Boots on the ground at the Combine this week. Exclusive content. Subscribe and let's go.